The Green Bay Packers. It's the tunnel as you head out to Lambeau Field. And I'm telling you, that was taken today. Spring apparently slow to come there, slow to come here. It just won't happen. I'm telling you, we need some sunshine, but we're glad to have you with us. Wendy Nix, Jeff Darlington, Damian Woody, and Jeff Saturday. The weather, I can tell you, and if you've watched the marathon, you know, not much better in Foxborough. The Patriots, though, one of the 25 teams beginning their offseason workout programs today as well, with a few notable exceptions. Tom Brady not present today. He's been traveling abroad on behalf of a charity he works with and was not expected to be back in time to participate. In previous years, Brady has been a regular participant in the team's offseason program, but he will miss at least the beginning of workouts this time around. And like his quarterback, tight end Rob Gronkowski will not attend the start of New England's offseason program either. He has spent much of the offseason, as you know, considering his football future. According to reports, he has had communication, some of it positive, with the Patriots, according to sources. Not the end of the world, as we remind everybody all the time. These are voluntary workouts, and the word voluntary means come if you'd like to. However, these two players typically a part of the Patriots offseason program, and perhaps of note that this time around they're not. Jeff.
Well, Wendy, I guess we got to try to unpack this thing, because this is
we
definitely
got nothing but time.
Great, because we need it. This is very interesting, and I can tell you that based on the conversations that I've had, I anticipate that Tom Brady will not be a participant not only today and Tuesday during his trip to Qatar, but when he gets back, the team will have a day off on Wednesday, and then Thursday they'll resume. I don't anticipate Brady being there, nor do I expect him to be at other voluntary workouts in the coming weeks. It is interesting, to say the least, the reasons that we can point to right now. First of all, he wants to spend more time with family, something he alluded to in his Tom versus Time documentary when he said, this offseason will be about my family. It will also be about maintaining his health, something that he wants to do with his body coach, Alex Guerrero, who is restricted access from Gillette Stadium. So he'll be in Boston working out, guys. The interesting thing is that he won't necessarily be in Gillette Stadium.
Damian, you've been in Foxborough. You've obviously played with Tom Brady. You've played for Bill Belichick. And this Alex Guerrero situation, at least if you read the tea leaves, appears to be a line in the sand. I mean, I think we found an Achilles heel here where players want to take care of their bodies, want to work out the way they want to. And now, you know, how big of a rift can this cause?
This thing,
This
thing is, it started off as like a brush fire, but it's like escalated into something much, much bigger. And these stories, it's funny, these stories have been coming out of Foxborough. You've just been hearing a whisper here about, you know, one person. You hear like Danny Amendola talking about reflecting back on his time in New England, you know, Malcolm Butler. Then you got Tom and Rob Gronkowski not, you know, reporting to the offseason program. This is something that hasn't happened, I don't know, ever in New England, where you're hearing all these type of things. Usually New England does a really good job of keeping like these things buttoned up, but to have all these stories coming out in the off season, it's pretty shocking, to be honest.
Yeah, and Jeff, I want to hear your point on this, but I will say this. I think there's the distinction here, or something that stands out to me. This is not entirely atypical for some teams around the league. This is extremely different for a team in New England that has towed the party line almost 100%, Jeff, since Bill Belichick started having success.
No, that's exactly right. And the truth is it all starts with Tom Brady. I mean, when your quarterback is in town and doing his workouts with the team repeatedly, I had a very similar circumstance with Peyton Manning in Indy. He never missed, right? But there's something about that. There's the leading by example that Tom Brady has done for his entire career. And guys in the locker room follow that. Listen, they understand how important it is when the head signal caller is in there and watching him take care of himself, and how is he going about his day-to-day business. Well, then all your other leaders follow that same suit, and next thing you know, you have this synergy with guys, everybody's showing up, everybody's bought in. When it starts where it's starting, and if what ends up happening is Tom Brady doesn't come, that does show a crack in the foundation. The Gronkowski situation to me is a little bit different, because I really do think he's considering retiring, period, being done with it. So if that's the case, I think you need to take the time away and don't get burnt out. But maybe his is a Guerrero situation as well, because that's kind of been maybe that's who he wants to be with as well. So will Belichick come back, sit down? Because to Woody's point, when Belichick understands this is a major issue for his team, he's going to bring the fold in, and he's going to have the conversation as a team. He's going to sit down. Is he willing to give, basically, and allow these guys to use Guerrero and bring him back into the fold? That's going to be your question, because if that's the divide, you don't want to lose your team or look like you're losing the team in that realm.
No, especially when you're talking about marquee names. And, Jeff, I want you to address one thing. Is there a difference between Tom Brady not being present and Rob Gronkowski's absence?
There is and there isn't. There are definite parallels between these two situations that occasionally will intersect, and Guerrero is an example. But I want to be very clear about a few things. First of which, Guerrero isn't the only outlier here that is causing this rift, this lack of perceived respect from these players. There are other things in play here that they're going to continue to discuss, not just with Bill Belichick, but with Robert Kraft in ownership. So this does go much deeper than just Bill Belichick. This is something that will continue to unfold throughout the offseason. And, one other point about this, when we talk about respect, how is respect ultimately shown? Is it just in the form of money? Is that what it's going to take for all this to go away?
Helps.
With Gronkowski?
That helps.
It certainly, it certainly does help. And quite honestly, I can't figure out the tangible aspect of this that will make it all better, other than the one thing that is money, because I don't see Bill Belichick all of a sudden saying, gee, golly gosh, guys, I'm sorry I was a jerk. Let's just all hug this thing out and get back to business.
I mean, think about this. You hear all the talk about the Patriot way, and Jeff alluded to it. You got your #1 guy, Tom Brady, not showing up early, possibly not showing up for a lengthy period of time. So if you're another player that's new to the organization and you're looking around, wait a minute, my quarterback's not here, the tight end's not here. What the heck is going on?
By the way, the two most vital pieces on that football team are those two guys. You can carve that however you want. Tom Brady, Gronkowski's not much further behind Tom Brady in importance of what this team needs and what this is looking like. And you're talking about what Cook's gone and different things happening, Amendola gone, but you're hearing the whispers. And here's the thing: the Patriot way is Belichick way. Be real about what that is, right? So the Patriot way is the way Belichick. To his credit, however you want to put this, Tom Brady's kind of thrown him a curveball a little bit. He has been in line the whole time, and all of a sudden, this thing has come to a division for some reason. If he decides not to do it, that's different from him. It's not like Bill Belichick woke up today and changed. This